court understands your frustration, Mr. Vaughn, with being forced to have a hearing in a case where you say you've not received all of the information, but this is a quasi-criminal, quasi-civil procedure that the court is required to do because of the length of time these animals have been removed. And for that reason, it was not my inclination to postpone this hearing, even to allow you to review these invoices. The invoices that I've been handed are testified to by this witness as being invoices for veterinarian treatment and expenses that have been actually incurred by the Animal Rescue Corps in the treatment of these specific animals. It is, in this court's opinion, not necessary that each expense be attributed to each of the 17 animals, but rather that it has been related to the care of these animals in question, and therefore the court overrules your objection and allows it to be introduced as an exhibit. So.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, can I object and get a true and accurate copy? These have been redacted. What is that? What we're redacting animal stuff?
Yeah, let's see what we do.
What are we hiding?
Your Honor, the redactions are account numbers and personal financial information that is relative to ARC. And additionally, it also redacts anything that is not related to this case to limit any confusion.
There's certainly a rule of completeness issue here, I think. I know you're getting frustrated with me, Judge, but I just don't like any of this.
Well, examining these records, it does not appear that there is anything that would render these records to be suspects simply because there's been redactions. I think that the elimination, we routinely do that in civil cases where there's personal information that's not pertinent to the issue before the court on a divorce case, such as social security numbers and so forth, would be redacted. In this particular case, I don't see, I suppose it could go to the issue of the weight to be assigned to these records if there is some indication that the information redacted was in fact relevant to the issues before us. But for example, the check that's written has a banking routing number that was omitted and redacted. That's standard operating procedure usually, and account numbers, invoice statements, and so forth. I'm going to allow them in over your objection simply because of the fact that the court is trying to determine the amount of a bond to be assigned for the animals in question. And although it does not have to be a dollar for dollar relation to the amount of the bond, it does have to indicate that there were expenses. So I understand your objection, and in the criminal case, you may have a valid argument to make regarding the discovery issues. In this portion of the case, it is the court's opinion that the records introduced are sufficient to relate to the issues before the court. So overrule your objection.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Haverstick, can you explain a little bit about your ordering as it relates to, take an example as far as rabies vaccinations?
Well, rabies would be ordered in quantities of 50. That's how they come.
Okay.
There were not 50 dogs on this property.
Okay. And so is it fair to say you have a overstock that you can pull from
Yes.
when needed?
We keep vaccinations stocked at all times.
Okay. And so just to confirm, those invoices and receipts were to purchase the items listed here on the medical services rendered?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you referenced that you have continued veterinary oversight on these animals and that they are paid staff. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay. And how much do you pay your vets per hour?
She makes $85 per hour,
Okay. And how much are you requesting on your cost of care worksheet?
$50 per hour.
$50 per hour. Okay. And do you expect any additional costs of care related to medical services here regarding these animals that is not reflected on your cost of care worksheet?
That is unknown.
Okay. And why is that?
Anything can happen and we'll provide the care. I can't state absolutely not. You know,
Sure.
they're living, breathing, sentient beings.
All right. So now we're going to shift to the boarding cost. How many days has ARC been the legal custodian of the defendant's animals?
It has been 237 days.
Okay. And are you requesting you be reimbursed for boarding costs to care for those
Yes.
animals during that period of time? Okay. All right. So we're first going to we're focusing on the paragraph regarding boarding. We're going to start with the birds. How much are you requesting for daily boarding fees for the exotic birds?
$25 per day per bird.
Per bird. Okay. And what is included in that $25 per day cost?
Food, enrichment, overhead, employees,
Okay. Can you explain your overhead a little bit more, please?
utilities. We've got to portion off, everything. It costs us about $80,000 a month, I believe. And we're using about 16% of our current space on these animals. So a portion of that has to be covered by the boarding.
Okay. Thank you. So the food for the birds specifically, can you give me a rough figure of the amount of money you're spending to cover the food for the birds?
One 35-pound bag of food for the birds cost $150, and we go through about 2 of those a month, and that's just the hard food.
Okay. What other food do they eat?
They also get nuts and seeds, and they get fresh fruits and vegetables every day.
Okay. So what would you estimate as far as your total food cost for the birds only?
For a month?
Yes, a month.
Probably between $400 and $500 a month.
And what other expenses do you have for the birds?
We have the nails and beak trims. I believe we've done those 3 times since we've had them in custody. We also have the day-to-day care for them because the birds are exotic and they are not your everyday dogs and cats. Only staff members are allowed to care for them. So it's pulling people from that.
Okay. Is enrichment included in that daily cost?
It is.
Okay. Can you please explain what enrichment is?
Enrichment is these birds, they need something to do. So we buy bird toys from Amazon. We also make some in-house when we have the appropriate, items to do so. Birds need something to chew on, to make noise with, to keep themselves active, puzzles, find the nut, keeps them active in their brains working instead of just sitting there and falling into ill health. Birds need to be busy. So we spend a lot of money.
Okay.
They're not cheap.
Okay. So can you give an example to the court as far as what an item looks like as far as enrichment and how the bird would use it and how long it would last that bird?
And it's sort of specific now that we've had them for so long, what bird likes. Some of them are, put together blocks of wood that they tear up and destroy, work their beaks on. Some of them are paper balls that they like to tear apart. We also use like Amazon packaging paper that comes in packages. They love that. They could be musical or noise makers. There's a big variety. Sometimes it's a cereal box with some paper and a nut in there with some twine. I mean, you can do some of those things, but different birds have different toys. Like a macaw needs a different enrichment than the Alexandrine. So it's different, but they're not cheap.
And how fast on
they
average
will-
would they go through those?
And again, that's kind of bird dependent, but it's generally, they don't last more. Some birds that they last about a day or two. Other birds, they could have them for a week to 2 weeks. But it's a constant replenishment.
And on average, how much would you say that you're spending a month on enrichment?
$500 to $700.
Thank you. Do you recognize those documents?
Yes,
Okay, can you please explain what they are?
they are copies of invoices, receipts for enrichment and food for the birds.
Okay. And so to clarify that those are expenses that ARC has incurred as far as providing the proper enrichment to the birds.
Correct.
And are those records kept in your ordinary course of business?
They are.
And were those prices used to help address your daily boarding costs?
They were.
And are those receipts a fair, true and accurate representation of the costs incurred?
They are.
Okay, I would like to enter the enrichment package as the next exhibit, please.
Obviously, I'm going to object, Judge, but I know how it's going to
I want you to do on the record whatever you feel like you need to do.
I'm
Don't
going to.
worry about if you repeat yourself, just make your objection and I'll rule it.
Okay, Judge, I'd like to object to these random Amazon orders that who knows what birds these are typed. I don't know.
Again, the same ruling will be that this witness has testified these were expenses that were incurred on behalf of the animals that were removed, and the court allows the testimony over your objection.
Thank you. Is ARC currently, or has ARC since August 7th taken in any other exotic birds in their care?
We have not.
Thank you. Okay, so we are next going to shift to the dogs' daily boarding expenses. How much are the daily fees for the dogs?
$25 per day.
Okay, can you please explain how that was calculated?
Much the same way, using the breakdown of the amount of space that these animals are taking up and the amount of employees, food, volunteers that go into that.
And the food was part of this. How much are you anticipating? How much do you estimate you're spending in food for the dogs?
For the two dogs, they probably, between the two of them, go through a bag of food and maybe a case of wet food a month.
And how much is that roughly a month?
I'm sorry, as a month, per month. $30 for a bag of dog food, and I believe a case of wet food is about $25.
So
$55 in food.
And what type of daily care is being provided to the dogs as far as staff's requirements?
They are, of course, fed and watered, and their space is cleaned every day. They go on multiple walks outside. They have improved health-wise, so they are enjoying everything a lot more. They get enrichment in the afternoon, either via Kongs or a special toy. They are played with and walked and taken care of.
All right, we are now going to shift to the boarding expenses for the equine, which is the horse. How much per day is that?
We have $25 per, no, wait. Yes, $25 per day.
Where is the horse located at?
The horse is with one of our partners, Piccolo Farms,
Okay, and why is the horse there?
because they are more appropriate to take care of a horse.
And again, just recapping, the agreement you made with Cheatham County Animal Control allowed ARC to make these arrangements
Yes,
if
but
needed.
they are all under our control.
Okay. So that is my next question. So who's deemed the legal custodian then of animals that are at your partner's
Animal
facility?
Rescue Corps.
And so how were those boarding costs calculated for the horse?
Again, using the, overhead food needs, and care such as barrier and that type of thing.
And is the $25 a day rate fair and reasonable based on charges in the area?
It is.
And have you provided payment directly to Piccolo Farms for the horse specifically?
Not as yet.
Okay, can you please explain why?
Well, we are waiting for this cost of care bond or via, no longer having to do that.
So was that a
And
discussion?
that was their agreement. That was our agreement with Piccolo Farms.
Okay, that they would wait until you recovered
Yes.
money from the bond to
Correct.
be reimbursed. Okay. Where are the chickens?
They are also, two of them were with Piccolo Farms,
And the third?
is with another Art Foster.
And again, the agreement with Cheatham County Animal Control allowed you to place animals
Correct.
at partners. And who's the legal custodian of the
Animal
chickens?
Rescue Corps.
And how much per day are you requesting for the chickens boarding?
$5 per day.
And what's included in that cost?
Same as the others.
And what type of daily care is being provided to the chickens?
Food, water, fresh water, housing, clean housing, space to roam.
And is the $5 a day per chicken fair and reasonable based on the rate in the area?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and have you paid for the boarding charges for the chickens?
With Piccolo Farms, no.
And again, is that based on your original agreement?
Original agreement with Piccolo
Wait.
Farms, yes.
Thank you. Okay, so let's recap. How much for the 237 days that you've boarded these 17 animals based on the daily rates that we've discussed in detail? How much has ARC incurred for the boarding expenses alone?
$86,505.
Okay. And I want to clarify that's ARC and their partners have incurred.
Correct. That's for all the animals.
Okay, thank you. And what is the amount of medical expenses that has been incurred today?
It is $5,383 for all the animals.
Okay, thank you. And what is the total expenses combining the boarding and the medical services that has been incurred from August 7th until March 31st as of today regarding the boarding and care of these animals?
$91,888.
Okay, thank you. So we have at the bottom of the page anticipated costs for the next 30 days. Is that accurate?
It is.
Okay. And can you explain the total combination for the 30 days?
It is the amount to board all the animals.
Training. At this point, I found Ms. Haverstick to possess the necessary experience and training, as well as the personal care for the types of animals that are involved, and the fact that she has been qualified as an expert in other courts in the state of Tennessee. So as a result of that, I overrule your objection and grant that she will be considered to be an expert.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did Cheatham County Animal Control ask for ARC's assistance in this case specifically?
Yes, they did.
And I'd like to show you the previously entered exhibit number 1, which I believe I left on my desk.
I think that's what she tried to show me.
Do you recognize that document?
I do.
Okay, can you explain what it is?
It is the designee letter. It's our agreement with Cheatham County Animal Control to assist with this. It is our letter from Cheatham County Animal Control designating us as their designee for this situation.
And is that a true and accurate copy of the request you received from
It
Cheatham
is.
County?
Yes.
And it was your understanding that Cheatham County Animal Control was investigating and potentially would be seizing animals in a criminal case?
Yes.
And can we refer to Animal Rescue Corps as ARC?
Yes.
Okay. Did ARC agree to be Cheatham County Animal Control's designee?
We did.
And what is your understanding on why Cheatham County Animal Control needed your assistance?
We knew there were exotic birds involved, and 2 dogs and a horse. Cheatham County is not, and chickens. Cheatham County Animal Control is not set to support those.
And did ARC have any discussion as far as the financial arrangements between you being a designee with Cheatham County Animal Control? Were you going to charge them anything too?
No.
Okay. And what was your understanding of who would cover the cost of care?
We would cover it.
Okay. And what was your understanding as far as how you would be getting reimbursed for your cost?
Generally in the field, if we get a surrender from the owner, then there's, we go forward with that. Everything's still treated as evidence. So we get through that period. In this situation, there was not a surrender. And so as part of our agreement, we do point to 3914 210G, that we will recover those costs via the bond.
Okay. And pursuant to that statute, were you aware that you could bring a petition to the court on your own behalf
Yes.
to request the bond be ordered?
Yes. So sorry.
Were you on scene at the time of the actual seizure of the animals?
I was.
Okay. And from whose custody were those animals seized from?
Becky Sipes.
Okay. And
Rebecca.
how many animals were seized?
17 total.
And how many animals did ARC agree to be the statutory designee for?
All 17.
So we're going to move into the condition of the animals at the time you received them in your care, of which I would like to discuss if there was any video taken on the day that that the animals were seized.
There was.
Okay. And who took this video?
It would have been either myself, Tim Woodward, our executive director, Kim Rezac, or Michael Cunningham.
And so it would have been ARC's
Leadership.
Okay. And are these videos that you regularly and ordinarily film on any seizures you're involved in?
Yes, there are many videos and photographs of the entire scene.
Okay. And have you watched the video have you watched a video prior to your testimony today?
Yes.
Okay. And so there's a video on this flash drive that I prematurely took out to have set up, and it was in this plastic bag. Would you recognize this
Yes.
bag, and how do you recognize that?
I signed it.
Okay. Okay. And the video contained within this flash drive, does that fairly and accurately depict the environment and the living conditions of the animals that you obtained custody of at the time of seizure?
It does.
And that date was August 7th, 2025?
Correct.
Okay. And are the conditions of the property and the animals as depicted in this video going to be used to provide your assessment as far as the care needed once in your custody?
Yes.
And would reviewing this video now help during your testimony be helpful to you to explain your opinion further?
Sure.
Your Honor, I would like to play the video and subsequently move it into evidence as the next listed exhibit.
All right, how do you wish to play the video?
I have just with the staff as far as arranging it on my personal laptop. Okay. Go ahead, Larry.
Judge, at this point, I'm going to object to the playing of this video. I mean, this is evidence in her criminal case. That they've already wrongfully put online and posted. Again, a discovery.
Well, I'm not going to show this evidence, this videotape on the live stream of this hearing to avoid it being disseminated among anyone who wants to watch here. But otherwise, this would be an opportunity for you to review the evidence and conduct some discovery on your own behalf if you wish to do so. But I don't think it's inappropriate or impermissible for them to play the video, because clearly they're asking for reimbursement of the cost of care for animals removed from your client. Part of that means they must show, in my opinion, a justification for that removal. And this video would be their evidence of doing that. So note your objection and I'll overrule it.
There's the sound, and you restart it, please, and then replay. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Wilby.
Screen black.
Sorry.
Screen black now.
Can you? So I would like to move the video into evidence if I
Right,
already
we'll
did
mark
not.
that as the next exhibit, is that too?
So did that video fairly and accurately depict the condition of the defendant's property and the animals that were seized on August 7th, 2025?
Yeah, somewhat, yes.
Sorry?
Yes, it depicts it.
I hear you, I'm sorry.
Yes,
And were you identified in that video?
I was.
And did you have any personal protection gear on?
Yes, anyone entering the house was required to wear a respirator with ammonia cartridges.
And why was that precaution taken?
Generally, as a rule, if you smell it before you go in the door, you know that it's going to be high enough to require protection, but we always go in with protection, and then we take an ammonia reading from inside the house.
Could you smell ammonia from the exterior of the home?
You could from the porch.
And were any ammonia level testings completed?
Yes,
And who did that testing?
I did.
Okay.
Using
And-
Draeger tubes.
I'm sorry?
Using Draeger tubes.
Draeger tubes. Okay. And what was the,
Draeger tubes is a type of testing system. It's just a glass tube.
and what were those test results?
Ammonia levels were 100 parts per million.
And in your expert opinion, as far as your training on ammonia testing, what does that number mean?
I mean, it's unsafe for humans and animals.
Animals, okay. What would be a safe level?
Less than 5,
Okay. And again, how many was this?
100.
And so you mentioned that the ammonia levels were unsafe for animals. Is that inclusive of avian species?
It includes avian species, yes, and dogs, cats.
Did you observe any of the animals inside the property or on the exterior of the property having any access to food or water?
Not to my knowledge.
And there was some footage shown of some,
There was some food, but it had maggots in it.
okay,
So not clean, not potable water, not clean food.
okay. But were the animals in access to that?
No, it was separate.
And did you find any property, any food on the property that was not contaminated?
I did not.
And did you find any uncontaminated water on the property?
No,
Did you notice if there was any running water inside the home?
I don't believe there was.
And from information we'll get to, is fresh fruits part of the exotic birds' diets?
Fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and
yes.
vegetables, okay.
Nuts.
Did you find any fresh food in good condition?
I did not.
Regarding the room that we witnessed on the video with the caged birds, what were the sanitary conditions of their cages?
They were very filthy. Definitely needed cleaning. There was feces and just that general grease on the entire cages, all the cages. Refuse on the floors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And again, just to confirm, was there any food or water inside the cages?
Not that I saw.
And did the cages have everything that a bird would need if confined?
Not in my opinion, no. They did lacking enrichment. They were lacking variations. They did have perches, but they were very soiled perches. Exotic birds need a lot more than that to thrive and survive.
And what was the overall condition of that room that the avians were confined to?
It's not good. There was trash thrown. The whole house was very full of, I don't want to call it all trash, but you could hardly walk through the house. The avian room was probably the more clear passage-wise, but it was very, very unkempt.
So from again, reviewing the video, we saw some animals. Was there any birds that were outside of cages?
Yes, there were
In the home?
in the main bird room. There were two that seemed to go in and out of the cage. In the master or the primary bedroom, there was a macaw that was loose, and also an umbrella cockatoo that was loose, and a wild starling that was flying around the bathroom.
Were there any other home animals inside the actual home other than birds?
Not that we could locate. There was evidence of being cats, but we weren't able to find.
Okay. And the video transferred to outside. What were the animals that were located on the exterior of the home?
There were 2 dogs, 1 mini horse, and 3 chickens.
And did you observe any food or water within access to them?
I did not.
Did you find any deceased animals on the property?
We did.
Okay. Can you explain what you found in that regard?
There was a chest freezer outside the main entry door. And in that, where the freezer was unable to close, there were a deceased rooster, deceased cockatiels, a baby bird of some sort. There was a couple of skulls that were around there that appeared to be avian as well.
So again, to recap, how many living animals did you observe on the property?
17.
And in your opinion, what were the conditions they were living in as far as relating to animal welfare?
They were not good conditions. The dogs were observed outside. They had missing hair. They had fleas. There's a little bit of rainwater that seemed to have collected in a small little divot. That was the only water that we saw. The birds were missing a lot of feathers. Beaks were overgrown. Nails were overgrown. The air was not breathable. The chickens, the coop that was there was very unkempt. There was refuse in there. It was hazardous. There was no food in the chicken coop. One of the chickens was in and out of the coop. So they seemed to be able to get out of that. But it was very desolate, very unhealthy.
And the horse, as far as the conditions regarding animal welfare?
There was, I did not see any food for him, or there was some straw that was kind of laid over the ground, but that seemed to more as mud control by a camper that was in front of the house. I did not find anything for the horse. He needed a hoof trim pretty badly.
All right. I have another document. Sorry. Do you recognize this document?
I do.
And what is it?
It is our master intake.
I'm going to object to this. I don't know what this is, Judge.
I'm sorry, what did you say it was?
It is our master intake that lists all the animals removed from the property.
All right. And your objection is to what, Mr. Vaughn?
The same discovery issue that I have no idea what any of this is.
Well, for the purposes of this quasi-civil hearing, I'm going to overrule the objection and allow it to be put on. We'll give you an opportunity to readdress that at a later date, but right now I would just like to get through the hearing. So overrule the objection.
Understood.
Thank you. Who created, sorry, can you state again what this is?
It is our master intake list.
Okay. And who created it?
I did.
Okay. And what is on it specifically?
It lists which animals were removed from the property. The area section designates where they came from off the property. That pegs back to a property map. The intake number is the order in which we remove the animals from the property. Names, sometimes we have names that are given to us, sometimes we don't. Everybody that comes in gets a name. Then we have the species, breed, color markings, age, sex, and weight. Sex, age, and weight.
And is this a true and accurate representation of the animals that ARC took custody of as a designee on August 7th, 2025?
It is.
Okay. I would like to move this into the next exhibit.
Exhibit 3.
Okay, I have another document for you. Ms. Haverstick, do you recognize this document?
I do.
And can you please state what it is?
It is a worksheet for the cost of care for the seized animals.
Okay. And who created it?
I did.
Is this a record you generally keep and create in the course of your regular business as it relates to being a designee?
Yes.
And was this record made at or near the time of the events they document?
Yes.
Okay. And are these costs based off of information you have access to in your regular course of business?
They are.
And is this a true and accurate representation of the cost of care ARC has incurred or will incur in the future for these seized animals?
It is.
Okay. I'd like to go ahead and admit this into evidence, although I'm still going to need her to continue to review it.
All right, we'll mark it as exhibit 4.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So were the animals inspected at the defendant's property? Were they examined by a licensed veterinarian?
They were.
Okay. And did the animals need medical care upon their seizure?
Yes.
Okay. And did the vet on scene advise of the care needed for these animals?
She did.
And did you incur costs for those medical services and treatment the vet advised?
We did.
All right, so we're just going to focus on the section reference medical services for now.
Okay.
What time frame do these costs cover?
They cover the day of seizure and a few days after.
And then the last line, the continuing vet oversight.
Yes.
Can you explain that, please?
We have ARC employs a veterinarian that comes to the shelter and provides oversight. She does a lot of veterinary exams. She's not necessarily the one that goes in the field with us all the time, but she is there every week to examine animals. And so we've allotted 2 hours of her time per week to observe, make sure everything is going well with the animals we have.
Okay. And do you?
These specific animals.
Yes. Does ARC pay that veterinarian?
We do.
And what is your anticipated monthly cost for that continued vet care for these animals?
It is $200 a month, correct? Yes. It's $100 a week, so $400 a month.
Okay. Okay. So related to the remaining medical services on this list, can you briefly describe what some of them are?
We've got heartworm and intestinal parasite control for the dogs, the 2 dogs. We did fecals on the dogs, heartworm tests, which one of them turned up to have Ehrlichia, which is a tick-borne disease, treatment for that. All of the birds had to have testing done on scene and sent to IDEX to make sure that they were free of diseases. We also had to do, the dogs had ear infections, parasite infections. The birds were, believe all of them, everyone except the starling received nail and beak trims
Okay.
and medicated baths for the skin issues that the dogs had.
Okay. And so as it relates to the cost associated outside of the veterinary care that we did discuss, the costs that are associated, how were those calculated?
The ones we were just discussing, the medical,
Yes, the
Okay.
medical.
they are from actual,
I'm going to object to hearsay within hearsay. We're talking about, if we're going to talk about costs and what the vet said, the care the vet gave, I'd like to speak to a vet about this. But we're talking about, just because this piece of paper says a judge is not going to be good enough for me to justify that this is what happened, or that this is even real.
The objection is that this testimony is based on hearsay. Your response?
That if I can lay the foundation, I will show that these costs are actually part of business records that are incurred in their ordinary course of business.
Well, those costs are not, the objection is as to what she's testifying to for, based on this record, is that correct? What the document is?
Yes, correct.
Those business records exception would apply if in fact this document you're referring to is a part of the business records, but I don't think that's been yet established. So I would sustain the objection until you establish a foundation under the business records exception.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Are the costs associated with the medical services on this worksheet actual incurred costs by ARC?
they are.
And do these costs come from any records that you keep in your ordinary course of business?
They do.
Okay. Can you explain what those are?
Via Patterson Veterinary Supplies. I do the purchasing for that. Chewy, through Amazon. I am responsible for most of those purchases.
Okay. And so those would be invoices and receipts.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. And those are generally kept in your ordinary course of business?
They are.
Okay. I would like to hand you another document. Do you recognize those papers?
I do.
Okay. Can you please state what they are?
They are invoices from Patterson Vet Supply, as well as, is that Chewy? Who is that? Chewy. Quite a few things from Chewy, where we paid for the testing for the University of Georgia. I'm sorry, they went to the University of Georgia, not to IDEX. I misspoke. And shows the appropriate payments
Okay.
via American Express.
Okay. And were those the invoices and receipts that you use to create your cost of care worksheet as it relates to the medical services costs requested?
Yes, that's part, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to introduce the medical invoices as the next exhibit.
The exhibit 5.
Judge, of course, I'm going to object to this. This is what I got at 5 o'clock yesterday. I would assume. The other is there's no way to tie this to any specific animal. And as far as all these diagnoses and stuff on the other worksheet, it's not necessarily the cost or the number, it's the reasonableness is that I have the issue with all this with, because, I mean, I object to these being entered as this. I've never seen them before. It's hearsay within hearsay. A vet needs to produce these if we're gonna, I mean, the vet needs to produce the diagnoses on this. This I've never seen. And I have no idea how this can be tied to Ms. Sykes' relevance.
Wow. Per day. It's $365 per day for all 17 animals. And times 30 days is $10,950. And to cover the veterinary oversight for 1 month is $400 for a total of $11,350 for a 30-day period.
Okay, thank you. So you referenced just a little bit ago that as director of operations, that what was your monthly operating budget for your facility?
$80,000.
$80,000. And how much space in your facility is the defendant's animals taking up?
Approximately 16%.
16%. Okay. So doing the math, 16% of $80,000, my math notes show that's $12,800. Does that sound correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that is $12,800 of actual operating expenses based on the amount of space and need that the defendant's animals are taking up for just the birds and the dogs. Is that
Just
correct?
the birds and the dogs, yes.
Okay. And what, so what would be the additional expenses in addition to that? The boarding cost for the,
Objection leading.
Sustained, don't leave the witness.
thank you.
So this 16% is for the birds and the 2 dogs
Yes.
of our facility. There are additional animals. This boarding covers all 17 animals.
Okay. So just alone, looking at your overhead cost for birds and dogs is $12,800, but how much are you asking for all 17 per month?
$11,350.
So based on that, you were giving the defendant a discount based on your overall operating expenses.
Correct.
Do you have additional overhead expenses that are not included in this cost of care bond request? Do you have additional expenses we haven't requested?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you have any expenses that you have not provided any receipts for?
Fruits and vegetables that sort of goes in with our normal weekly grocery runs for the shelter.
Okay. And have you needed to purchase any other supplies that are not included on this list?
We bought some caging for the birds.
Have you needed to pay any staff any overtime?
No.
Have you taken on any other rescues since August 7th, 2025?
We have,
Do you recall how many cases you've done?
I believe it's 16.
And has the space that you are using to board the defendant's animals, have they limited your ability to provide care for any of these other rescues?
They've taken up the space that we would normally use for puppies and newborns and moms, which is more of an isolated space. So we've had to create other areas for that.
Have you had to incur any additional expenses by limitation of that space?
We've had some boarding fees ourselves for a case that we did.
Do you recall how much in boarding you spent for that case?
I believe it was just over $3,000.
What type of entity is ARC?
We are a nonprofit.
And do you do fundraising as part of your organization?
We do.
Okay. And do you know how much, do you know if the fundraising you potentially have received from this case, from your donors, has that surpassed any of your expenses that are not included on this cost of care?
It is not. Wait, say that again.
Sure. So
I got lost.
if you have received any fundraising for this case specifically from your donors,
that has not exceeded
it has not
the
exceeded
expenses. No.
and to clarify, the expenses not included in this cost of care that you covered, the
Correct.
additional boarding and the caging and
Correct.
Have you been a designee in a criminal cruelty matter before?
Many times.
And what was the longest length of time you had custody of those animals?
409 days.
And did you receive a security bond order in that matter?
We did.
And has ARC been reimbursed by Cheatham County Animal Control for any of the expenses incurred today?
We have not.
Has Ms. Sipe reimbursed you for any of the expenses incurred today?
She has not.
Should Ms. Sipe fail to pay the bond per the statutory guideline or agree to surrender these animals, what would be ARC's next step?
Once they were no longer part of the evidence for the case and we had ownership, they would then go to our through our sorry, very dry mouth. They would go to our placement partners.
Okay. And would ARC be receiving any money from those placement partners?
No.
Okay. And if those animals are adopted later, would ARC receive any money from the adoption fees?
We would not.
Has ARC made any money off of this case?
We have not.
Okay. Will ARC make any money off of this case if they were to receive ownership?
We would not.
Okay. And if ARC is not granted an order or the bond is waived for the defendant for whatever reason, and ARC does not get compensation on this, how would that affect ARC?
We would continue caring for the animals.
And how would that
Sorry,
affect?
can you repeat that?
I said we will continue caring for the animals. That's what we do.
And how would that affect ARC financially?
It could limit some of the cases we would be able to do.
And how would that affect your relationship with Cheatham County Animal Control?
It would be hard to justify.
So one last recap. The cost of care on this worksheet is provided the support you've provided, it's fair and reasonable based on the cost associated.
It is.
Okay. Okay, I have no further questions at this time.
We're going to take a recess. All right, Mr. Vaughn, you have questions?
Yes, Judge, I do. Lots. Some I can ask, some I can't. Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Winston. I represent this site. Okay. So how much money does ARC make a year? What's the tax return? Do you have a tax return?
A retired Army sergeant rushed to court demanding emergency help over a home dispute, but the hearing took a shocking turn. The judge ruled the house already belonged to his ex-wife, ordered him to sign the ownership papers, hand over the insurance check, and stop delaying the process. What began as his fight for relief ended with the court enforcing the divorce order against him. Was justice served? Comment below and subscribe for more real courtroom drama. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe The Legal Lens for more real courtroom drama.
I have one item.
Okay.
What was the question again?
She had a tax return from ARC.
The tax return from ARC
Yeah, like
for ARC?
for ARC,
Okay.
but we can't find that one. What do you think a tax return would look like?
I don't do the tax return.
Okay.
I'm director of operations.
So you're all right. Explain to me the hierarchy here. Where?
So an executive director.
Okay.
We have a board of directors above them. We have an executive director, and then under the executive director is myself, director of operations. We have a director of animal welfare and placement. We have a director of administration.
Okay. Are these all salaried positions?
Yes.
Okay. The people that work where? All right. So is ARC just in Gallatin, or is it all over? And there's like almost like sects in every.
There's almost like what?
Like sects, SECTS,
Like
pockets all over the country of
no.
views. Okay.
We only have about, I believe I can't remember exactly 8 or 9 employees. And we utilize a lot of volunteers.
Okay. So most everything is done. Would you say most everything is volunteers?
No.
Okay. The day-to-day stuff is.
Well, we have a shelter manager, we have an animal care person, and then volunteers come in to assist.
Okay. And so those are not paid in any way.
Correct.
Okay.
They get lunch.
Lunch?
Mhm.
Fair. Seems reasonable. So who would know in your line? Would the executive director be?
Executive director.
I mean, are we talking about, would you think that is ARC operating at a loss?
I mean, I stated that our monthly expenses were about $80,000.
80,000?
Mm-hmm.
How big is this place?
What do you mean? It has to do more with the animals that come in. How many animals do we have?
How many animals do you have?
It varies by day. I could have anywhere from 20 to 350. It depends on the case that we've done, what animals have come in, what animals have gone out. It's a very fluid situation.
Who would know how much money ARC has made since the release of this video?
So, not myself.
Okay, that's fair. Do you often do the video thing?
We do.
Okay. Even when an ongoing
We
criminal.
run 100% on private donations.
Okay.
Without raising money, we can't do cases. We can't help animals.
Okay. So it's
It's a cycle.
it's donations.
It's donations and grant. We have a few grants, but I don't.
Okay. But one of those things perhaps future watch out for is releasing evidence and ongoing investigation. I mean, that could be a bad thing.
Is there a question?
Huh?
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
What's your question?
Why do you think it's okay to release evidence
I
and
do
on my
operations.
ongoing criminal investigation?
We don't name any names. That could be anybody's house, anybody, anywhere.
It's all over.
Objection. Your
No,
Honor.
it's not.
Hold on, we have an objection.
It's being argumentative regarding, the release of information regarding criminal charges.
Well, I just would like to know why she thinks it would be okay in an ongoing criminal investigation with a human on the other attached to it. That would be okay for the sake of them lining their pockets with money.
Number one, the objection is being argumentative. Overrule the objection as to that part, but limit your questions to why she feels that it would be okay to put that online. She is not a member of the law enforcement community as far as this court is concerned. She is a private entity that deals with the care and rescue of animals. So I don't think the same rules would apply in a criminal case, but I'll allow you to ask if she has any instruction or any advice or education that would require her to avoid posting that information online.
Are you aware of the pitfalls for Ms. Sipes' due process rights by posting that
We
online?
never identified her. We never identified the address. Now, if someone comes in and identifies themselves, that's on them.
Okay.
We would never identify name, address. We would not.
Okay. So at some point in all of this, you were willing to waive the costs if Ms. Sipe just gave up her animals.
Mhm.
But because she won't do that, now it is about money. Is that correct?
I didn't write the statute,
Okay.
but if you're going to prohibit animals from moving on and out of our care, then if they're your animals, then you should cover the cost. That's the statement of the statute.
Has Ms. Sipe offered to help you all take care of the animals?
That is not an option. They are evidence.
Well,
and
like the evidence you leaked on YouTube?
Oh, well, I didn't leak anything.
Right. So effectively, this document, did you prepare this?
I did.
Okay. Would you agree that reasonableness in the care of animals is subjective or objective?
In what way?
Like this to me looks like a pet spa day kind of price list. And the people asking the money are the people with the name your price tool. That's what I'm asking about.
Okay, the statute states fair and reasonable, and that is what that is. It is a reasonable amount. If you went to go board your exotic bird somewhere and have it cared for, it would be way outside of that. So the statute states that we have the right to recover.
So this stuff, do people donate this stuff?
No. I mean, do they sometimes? Sure. Any of that? No.
Okay. At one point I heard,
Did you say paper could be and what's the word y'all keep using for just playing and having fun? What do y'all?
The correct term is enrichment.
Enrichment. Got it.
Mhm.
Paper is enrichment?
I said it can be,
Okay.
that it is used sometimes. It can't be, you can't just throw a bunch of paper in there and expect these birds to thrive. No.
right, but some birds like the paper.
Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay. You said $400 to $500 per bird per month is rent. Is that
That
right?
is not what I said.
What was no, that was for food, right?
For food.
And a bag of bird food costs,
$140.
okay. How many birds can eat off of that? Does each bird get their own bag of bird food?
No. We go through at least a bag to a bag and a half a month for the birds that are at the shelter,
For
which
each,
are only these birds.
So a bag and a half per bird a month.
No, that's not what I stated.
Okay.
It's a bag to a bag and a half per month for the entirety of the birds we have at the shelter.
And a bag costs $120.
And that's just, that costs $140. And that is just the exotic hard bird food. That doesn't include any of the other things we feed them.
Okay. Have you turned down donations in this case?
No. For what?
Anything.
Not that I know of, but I don't handle all the donations.
Okay. Who does?
It would go through the website or as a director of development.
Okay. Is there, who's the accountant person? What is their name?
Well, it would go through Tim, through our ED.
Tim, what's his name?
Woodward.
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 WOOD, WARD.
So he's the guy that sees the money?
I mean, it is a group effort here, but yeah, I mean, does he see everything is discussed with him? Sure. But we have a director of development. We do have an accountant that we use. She's not an ARC employee.
Okay.
But, that is all dealt with through him.
When you went to go take these birds to the vet, you just use one specific vet? Is there a vet that comes and volunteers sometimes?
Yeah, we do not take them to the vet. There was a vet on scene
Mm-hmm.
that did the initial testing swabs and the initial assessments. And then that same vet came to the shelter and did further, deeper exams. And then we do have a vet that we employ that is there every week.
Do you ever help people?
We are in the animal protection.
Right, but when you come across homes, do you ever use the resources with which you all have to assist humans?
If it was possible, but this is a criminal case. I don't have access to that. I didn't seize the animals. Animal control sees the animals. We are there to assist. Now, do I have empathy?
Y'all are there for the video, so to film the video.
No, sir. We
Okay.
were there to assist these animals.
Who physically touched the birds and removed them?
We did.
Okay. So you did seize the animals.
We took custody of the animals.
Aha.
The seizure has to be called for, and we are not law enforcement.
Got it. Who came up with Operation Skyfall as the name?
I have no idea.
Um,
We name all our operations.
so what did you say per bird per month was the
That was what, 16% of 80,000?
Yeah.
I don't have the paper in front of me. It's like 12,000 something.
So
a month? What does an individual bird cost?
A month. What does an individual bird cost? They cost 25 per day, but times 30 days.
Okay. I'll pass, Judge.
Redirect.
Regarding volunteers, who is taking care of Miss Sipes' animals at your facility?
Only ARC employees.
No further questions.
So no other person touches the Sipes animals but ARC employees. Not one volunteer has ever touched a bird taken care of.
I mean, touch the bird? And no, we don't do that.
Volunteers have never taken care of animals.
Not specifically, no. I mean, what do you mean by taking care of them? The daily care, the daily,
The enrichment hall.
well, I mean, sure, somebody can put water in a bowl, but generally that area is for staff only.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Ms. Schultz, I know you had said you may have another witness. We're about to quit for the day. And if you have other witnesses, we'll have to resume them on that date I've given you in April. Is that the case?
I do.
Based on our experience this afternoon, I don't think even one more witness would be a quick
Work is
I've been
on the
handed
bench.
this position.
Come up, Mr.
What I've been handed indicates that he is going to be entering a plea of guilty to count one, criminally negligent homicide, receive a sentence of 1 to 2 years, Department of Corrections.
Sorry, that's count 1, 2 years.
2 years as a Department of Corrections range 1 offender suspended to probation conditional under 4035-313. Count 2 is aggravated assault, 2 years, Department of Corrections, and range 1 suspended to probation conditional under 4035-313. Those are concurrent with one another. And count 1 is not to operate a commercial vehicle as a condition of his probation.
Judge Stephen Young is here. He's co-counsel, and I may have to leave at some
That's
point.
All right, let's have Mr. Lester raise his right hand and be placed under oath.
You saw Mr. Burke testimony, true, whole truth, and there's no doubt.
Yes.
Thank you. Step up in front of that microphone and state your full legal name.
Wyatt Emery Lester.
Mr. Lester, you're here today on a 6-count indictment. You've heard me go over what the agreement is as to 2 of those counts. The remaining counts are to be dismissed as a part of this agreement. But have you seen or been shown a copy of those charges? Talked them over with Mr. Flanagan. You and he discussed the range of punishment you're facing as well as any possible defenses you might have.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, it's indicated that you want to enter a plea of guilty to these 2 charges and have the rest be dismissed. Do you understand you have a right to plead not guilty to all charges and have a speedy and public trial by jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that at trial you would have the right to have a lawyer and to have one appointed for you if you could not afford your own?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand if you went to trial, you would be presumed to be innocent until such time if ever the state proved your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt to the satisfaction of all 12 jurors, and their verdict would have to be unanimous before you could be convicted of anything.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that you and your lawyer could confront and cross-examine every witness that the state called at trial, and you could bring in your own witnesses by the use of a subpoena.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you would be presumed to be innocent? You would not have to testify or prove anything, and no inference of guilt would arise because you did not testify at your own trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you went to trial and you were found guilty, you could appeal that conviction and the sentence imposed to the Court of Criminal Appeals, have a lawyer appointed to help you with that appeal if necessary?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that by entering this plea of guilty, you're waiving your right to a trial and to an appeal? All I'm going to do is approve what the state and your lawyer have reached an agreement about.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that's going to be under 4035-313? Because you have no prior criminal record, the state has agreed that you would be eligible for this program. What that means is that you're going to be on probation for a period of 2 years. And you're handing me these guilty pleas, and they're going to be in your file for 2 years. If you stay out of trouble and complete all of the requirements and don't violate your probation, at the end of that 2 years, you have the right to come in and ask for your record to be expunged. It will not happen automatically. You'll have to seek that to be done. But on the other hand, if you violate your probation, then you can be brought back before this court and you can be re-sentenced within the range for the offenses that you are entering this plea to. Do you understand that?
Yes,
In other
Your
words,
Honor.
you could get more than 2 years if we have to re-sentence you. Secondly, those would become permanent convictions on your record and would be there in the future to make more severe the punishment you receive if you're ever again convicted of a crime. Do you understand all of those things?
Yes, Your Honor.
You still wish to enter a plea according to this agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand if you plead guilty, the court of the state could ask you questions about this offense? And if you answer those questions under oath and on the record and in the presence of your lawyer, your answers could later be used against you in a prosecution for perjury if we determine that you were lying under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is your decision to plead guilty today voluntary?
Yes.
Anybody forcing you to do this against your will?
No.
Do you understand I cannot accept your plea unless I'm satisfied that you are in fact guilty and that there are facts to support that finding?
Yes.
Then I will ask you, are you guilty of this charge of criminally negligent homicide?
Yes.
And are you guilty of the aggravated assault by reckless conduct?
Yes.
State want to lay a foundation for this factually.
We'll let the DA get
Your Honor, on August 11th, 2023, at about 7:49 in the morning, Mr. Lester was operating a FedEx box truck eastbound on I-40 near the 186 mile marker here in Cheatham County. He was approaching stopped traffic on I-40. Everybody was stopping, and he failed to exercise the standard caution, look ahead, safety, and care that would be reasonably expected of a person, because all of the traffic was stopping and Mr. Lester did not stop until 0.4 of a second prior to striking the vehicle being occupied, being driven by Gerald and Latanya Kaiser. When he struck that vehicle, he injured Mr. Kaiser, and he caused the death of Latanya Kaiser. That is the basis of the criminally negligent homicide against Latanya and the basis of the aggravated assault against Mr. Kaiser. Now, the remaining counts that have been nollied in settlement are in essence, the result of this sort of ping-ponging action of other vehicles on the road that followed that collision. But that is the factual basis, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Lester, if you'll come back to the podium. I am not asking you to agree with those facts, but do you understand that's what the state's evidence would be if this case went to trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's services?
Yes.
You feel that Mr. Flanagan has done a good job of representing you competently?
An amazing job, Your Honor.
Mr. Flanagan, do you know of any reason you should not enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further from the state? I believe you have victim impact statements.
That's correct, Your Honor. I've got 3 statements, I believe, from the witness.
All right, then let's have Mr. Lester have a seat at the table there. If Mr. Flanagan is required to leave at that point, at some point, then we'll go ahead and allow his co-counsel to sit into that.
How do you? Yes, thank you. I am Nadia Ross, the daughter of Latanya Gazard. I hate to be here today, but I speak for my mother, for my father-in-law, and for my brother who was with her. This is pretty hard for us. I lost the matriarch of my family. I miss her so much. And in 2023, my life changed before me. I have never been the same. I don't know what to do without my mother. Her granddaughter, her grandkids doesn't know what to do without her. But I just say to you, sir, you took so much away from me. Everything I learned, every woman that I tried to be and teach my child to be, you took her away from me. And that's all I have to say, Judge, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. How y'all doing? I'm the oldest of Latanya, the stepson of Garland, and also I was a passenger in the vehicle that day. Sustained injuries and had to go to Vanderbilt and things like that. But I want to talk to y'all about my mom. I'm here to honor her today. She was the fourth of 6 kids. She was born to Rosalie and Eugene Ford. She was a loving mother to me and my sister. She was a proud grandparent and a devoted wife to Garland. She was a woman of guidance and leadership, loved and respected by many. A God-fearing woman, a straightforward woman, the kind of woman that would tell you the truth, whether you was ready to hear it or not. I miss her deeply. I find peace in knowing that God plucks from his garden and he replants with purpose. What's taken today will blossom tomorrow in eternal life. Today I stand here before you with many titles. As a son that lost his mother, as someone who's experienced loss and grief, as a victim, as I say, I was in an accident as well. But most importantly, a Christian man. And because of my faith, I stand on my foundation of grace. I won't deny the pain. I won't ignore the loss, but I choose something better and I choose forgiveness. Doesn't mean that the loss is forgotten. It doesn't mean that the pain is gone. I just choose not to let it have the final word. To you, you caused my family a tremendous, unimaginable amount of pain, but I acknowledge that you've taken responsibility for your actions. And for the sake of my own peace, I choose to forgive you. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. And that's what my mom would want. Ephesians 4:32, it says, be kind to one another, be tenderhearted, forgiving to one another, and forgive just as Christ forgave us. So I'm gonna live by that standard. So today I release what I can no longer carry and I put it in God's hands. And I pray for you.
Thank you. Mr. Arnold?
To the court. I would like to just start with what the kids said about their mom and my wife. It's just a very small part of the woman that she is. She was a woman that is unexplainable. And I'm pretty sure every husband feels the same about their wife and their spouse. But I can say, yeah, man, you broke me. You broke me. I've always been a provider, someone strong for my wife and the kids. And I've done a lot of things in my life. And I always felt that with God, I couldn't be broken. This broke me. This is what you took from me. I can never get that smile back, no matter how hard I try. This doesn't come back. But Tanya was a wife and a woman that is unexplainable in words. I just can't say she was there. Outside of God, she was my word. And I could say, I've been broken. I look at this picture and I'll never get this smile back. I never get this back. young man turn me to a liar to people that I'm around. Because people ask me, am I okay? I'm not okay. A lot of people tell me I'm okay. I'll be all right, but I'm not. The final things of her life, I never got to do it with her. I funeralized my wife a week out of the hospital. I wasn't there to give her the proper farewell that she deserved because of my injuries. Her last birthday together, 2 months later, took her away from her. I never questioned God, but your actions I question. It's not God, I question your actions. And your actions caused this. Not God. Your action caused this. You can't compare a speech to someone that you love the most and miss the world of. I have a speech. I just have distant memories. Long distant memories. And the question that I do have for you, I was listening to the judge's statement. Is he a convicted felon?
Only for 2 years if he does everything right. If he does anything wrong, then yes.
Because
If he completes the 2 years of probation and doesn't make any mistakes, then he will be able to apply to have that come off of his record.
she's gonna fail.
You're right, she is.
That's all I have. Thank you, y'all. Thank the court.
Mr. Arnold, anything else?
That's from the state, brother.
All right, Mr. Lester, if you'll come back to the podium. Mr. Lester, upon your plea of guilty to count 1, I find that you should be placed on probation for a period of 2 years with the Department of Corrections as a range 1 offender. In count 2, you'll be also sentenced to 2 years probation as a range 1 offender. Those are both offered or entered rather under 4035-313. And under count 1, the agreement is that you will not operate a motor vehicle, a commercial vehicle, as a condition of your probation. Counts 3 and 6 are dismissed as a part of the agreement. I don't know all of the facts other than the fact that all of us who travel on the interstate day and night and are driving motor vehicles, and then we come upon or a 18-wheeler comes up on top of us, it's a scary situation to occur. And whatever the situation was that caused this, my understanding on the only reason I've accepted it is that there was no drugs or alcohol in Mr. Lester's system at the time, and this is purely a case of negligence on his part, if I understand correctly. And so it's for that reason that this agreement was entered. But Mr. Lester, you understand that you must abide by all of the conditions of this probation.
Yes, Your Honor.
To the family, I would simply say that there's nothing that I can say or do in this case that's going to make the pain that you feel any easier. Any of us who have lost our mother in the past know what that pain feels like. Yours is just unfortunate because, and it's tragic because of how severe and sudden it was. And when you lose a parent or your mother especially, a part of you seems to be taken away as well. Hopefully with time you can keep those loving memories that you have of her, like that photograph that you showed us, keep those alive in your heart, and you'll keep her alive in your heart, and some of the pain will ease. To the extent that this court can aid or assist you, I've done what I can do in putting these conditions on. That will be the judgment of the court. Mr. Lester, you need to see the probation department. Mr. Arnold, You have not signed off on that pretrial judicial diversion. You get home, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to demonstrate this picture of your wife to show the people when out there in the world what she appeared to be and what she was. So, and if you will hand that to Mr. Arnold, I will give you a closer look. So, here we go. And was she on a motorcycle? Did she have a motorcycle?
Oh, no, sir.
It looks like that there was a motorcycle behind that. Or I guess that's her birthday, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a birthday.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted everyone in the world to be able to see your beautiful wife and to know what you've lost. So, all right. Thank you. You may. All right. We are now ready on Rebecca State, Tennessee versus Rebecca Sipes, docket number 2026 CR 19854.
Judge, sorry. We were going to let Mr. Willoughby's case go real quick. It should only be a few.
What case is that?
Austin Simpkins, Your Honor.
Who?
Austin Simpkins. It's on the 1 o'clock portion of the docket. Yeah, well.
All right. What is this? Again, what is this for?
Your Honor, I filed a motion to amend the bond conditions to allow supervised visitation for his minor children if approved by the juvenile court, because right now his bond conditions prohibit any contact period with any sort of minors. And this was set today for a hearing, and I have one witness for the court to hear. And I also filed a request for bill of particulars, but I think that's not being contested.
No,
So has the juvenile court entered an order that would allow him to have visitation?
The juvenile court right now, the order only allows his mother custody and visitation. And I think that's because when he was arrested on this, the bond conditions prohibit him from having any sort of contact. So I would say that the juvenile court, the custody arrangement was created after he had posted bond with the bond conditions. And so what we would be asking for, I just have one witness, is just to amend those bond conditions to allow it if the juvenile court sees fit to do so. If they decline to give him any sort of supervised visitation, then we would be in the exact same position right now.
Well, your client is charged with a Class A misdemeanor in count 1, and count 2 is charged with a Class A felony.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Class E felony in count 3, and count 4, Class B felony. My concern is that you're asking me to put an order down that would allow supervised visitation without any other kind of evidence or anything else, or any indication that the juvenile court is going to allow it. I understand you're saying subject to the juvenile court. Visitation and contact with the children is always going to be supervised by the juvenile court, but the juvenile court doesn't have jurisdiction over these Class A felony charge.
Yes, sir. And that's
my suggestion would be that when the juvenile court enters an order, I will put an order down that says that we will defer to the juvenile court to allow them to decide whether it's in the best interest of these minor children that your client have supervised visitation. And upon that, then you can revisit the issue with either me or one of the other judges that would allow, and I'm sure if the juvenile court says it's in the best interest of the children, then that may be pro forma for us to sign off on it. But I'm hesitant to put an order down in advance of the juvenile court making a finding that would allow that. And I understand you're asking for it to be subject to the juvenile court's order, but I don't want to infer to the juvenile court that I agree that the children ought to be allowed to have unsupervised contact with this man. If he's convicted of the Class A felony, he will be going to prison, obviously.
Yes.
He's presumed to be innocent. But so my suggestion would be get the juvenile court to let you know if they're going to agree to that, and then just let them know, as we've done in many other cases, that you can get an agreed order signed off on by the DA, and unless the DA opposes it.
The state's position is we're going to oppose any modification of that bond condition because of the nature of the conduct involved until the conclusion of this case. But I agree with you. We're kind of getting the cart before the horse.
It seems to be premature for this court to be asked to do it when the juvenile court hasn't said that they would even agree to it. So
I guess the only reason I file it is because this court explicitly prohibits any contact with any juveniles, and I think that's what the juvenile court would also consider. So I just didn't want him to be in a situation of, I wanted to get this amended first, and then it would be obviously subject to the juvenile.
Well, we have a judge here every month. So is this a case that I have to hear?
I know Judge Turnbow is conflicted. And I know Your Honor took the plea for I'm going to use the term co-defendant, even though she's not technically a co-defendant for Ms. Shannon Elliott. So Your Honor is the most familiar.
All right, well, here's what we'll do. I'm in court somewhere every month, and I have criminal dockets every month. If the juvenile court indicates that they're willing to consider a supervised visitation schedule, then you can contact my office and we will schedule you a hearing wherever I am. Mr. Willoughby's good about traveling. He has fishing holes all over the 23rd Judicial District he likes to visit. So we'll let you refile or ask for your motion to be heard. I'm just deferring the motion because I don't think that it's appropriate for me to put an order down approving unsupervised or supervised contact with the children where the juvenile court hasn't done that. But I also want to give the state an opportunity to explain why they would oppose even supervised visitation.
Yes.
But it may all be academic if the juvenile court's not going to allow it anyway.
So Your Honor wants the juvenile court to move first.
I prefer juvenile court to make a ruling on it first, and then only if they agree or if Judge Maxey says that in his opinion supervised visitation would be appropriate, then we'll give the state an opportunity to be heard as well. So. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm sorry. What is the status day right now? It'd have to be July, wouldn't it?
I don't know if we set one in July. I think we were just tracking it today. Do you want to put it out?
Are you scheduled to be in front of the juvenile judge anytime in the foreseeable future?
No, Your Honor. I'm going to have to speak with my client about that. I can't do it.
Your Honor, there's like 3 months of almost 8 hours a day videos that Mr. Pugh now has but we had it.
Is this the co-defendant to the woman that we had to enter the plea some time ago where the young boy was killed?
Was beaten to death, yes.
Beaten to death, and your office read a detailed
Yes,
day
Your
by
Honor.
day.
Myself and
description of
General
what that
Sagi.
video show. Right.
What we were talking about, because of the volume of digital evidence, is a November 10th to see if Mr. Pugh has been able to, because like I said, we had a whole team of TBI that sped that up because they could divide and conquer. So if that's a suitable date for Your Honor for a status to see where we are. And then I think to put on the record, he did file a bill of particulars, but we're going to discuss that and try to get that remedied between us.
So is July 14th the day that you're talking about, or a different day?
I was talking about November 10th.
November 10th?
Yes, sir.
All right, November the 10th will be the status for it. So,
Thank you, Your Honor.
all right, in the matter of the state of Tennessee versus Rebecca K. Sipe.
Judge, I represent the site. There's several things that are kind of pending. The first of which is this odd civil criminal piece of the law that requires effectively a restitution hearing on the front end. That I'm not prepared to go forward with because I got all of the financial information for this cash bond yesterday at 5. They're asking for a significant amount of Miss Sipe's money. I feel like I should have a little longer than a day to prepare for that. I would have said this even if I'd only had 20. I understand that the Byrd attorney is wanting this done and has wanted this to be done for 7 months. And, sorry about that. I had nothing to do with any of this. But yeah, I would like another date to actually review the topic with which we're going to be discussing. So that'd be the first order of business today. I don't believe the state's opposed to that.
It was my assumption that when we turned over all the discovery had been included in that, which was done directly after the arraignment. When I sent just a reminder email yesterday to Mr. Vaughn, he had made me aware that was the first time he had seen the financial documents.
Well, this is a case of first instance for this court, at least, and we've had a prior court hearing in which it was brought to my attention what was taking place. In the General Sessions Court, the General Sessions judge put an order down consolidating the petition filed by the Animal Rescue Corporation, also known as ARC or ARC, seeking to have they have actual physical custody of the animals that were removed, and they have filed pursuant to statute to try to have a bond set by Ms. Sipe. If she intends to try to recover these animals, then she's going to have to pay for the cost of their upkeep, because right now that cost is being paid for by the Animal Rescue Corporation, Animal Rescue Corps. And under statute, they have a right to ask for a bond to be set to secure the cost of those upkeep of those animals. And if she's not able to do it by statute, then the animals would be surrendered, deemed to be surrendered, and would be allowed for animal rescue court to put them up for adoption, so that the cost of care for those animals is no longer being paid out of pocket by animal rescue corps. It is an anomaly, so to speak, in that the state statute that Animal Rescue Corps is operating under allows them to intervene in a criminal case, even though they're a civil group, for the benefit of the minor children, the animals that were in question. So what is taking place right now is two things. I have the issue of we set this specifically for the bond issue to be heard so that animal rescue could deal with the cost of providing care for the animals. And then the other was your client has filed a pro se motion for supervised visitation and preservation of evidence, in which she is seeking to have supervised visitation with the 17 animals that were removed from her care and custody. So how long of a period and exactly why is it necessary for you to, number one, you were appointed to represent her on the criminal case. And
Correct.
So it's unclear to this court. And I know we had this discussion the last time about whether or not you had any standing to represent her on the civil part, except for the fact that the two have been consolidated.
Right. And I know that I'm still confused as to the line for my exposure as my duties as a public defender. And, do I need to go get malpractice insurance for this? I would like a little more time to get familiar with this whole situation. I can hear the bird visit motion today. I'm down. I'm perfectly okay with that. But the rest of the stuff, I have no idea. It's fresh.
Well, you were appointed to represent Ms. Sipe on the criminal charge. And in my opinion, you have no obligation or duty as the public defender to represent her in the civil action that runs corollary or is correlated with it. In other words, if we have to have a hearing on her request for visitation or on the ARC's request for a bond to be posted, then I don't think that you have to be involved in that, because of the simple fact. I know we've had discussions about this previously,
right?
But I agree with you. It does seem to me to pose a question as to whether or not you as a criminal lawyer have any duty or obligation towards your client in the civil portion of this case. Have you consulted with Mr. Mitchell about this scenario?
We've talked about it in the regard of just the facts and circumstances of the case, and he's as confused as anybody is about this bird stuff, Judge, to be honest.
Well, let me hear from the ARC's representatives, if you will. And Mr. Hodl, I'm going to give you an opportunity to be heard as well.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jessica Schultz here on behalf of Animal Rescue Corps. We can refer to them as ARC for short. I appreciate your willingness to expedite this, to have this hearing today. A few things of response to Mr. Vaughn is that in the General Sessions case, we were subpoenaed for production of documentation, and that was early January of this year, of which we did provide all of the invoices and receipts for discovery at that time. Since the arraignment in this case has proceeded, I've not received any motions for discovery for my information. However, I did turn it all over to the state for them to have access to put in their file as well. So with that, back in January, when we did give Ms. Sipes attorney at that time, the General Sessions Court did appoint her an attorney in our case as well. And she had asked for a 3-week continuance to review our receipts and records at that time, which we did agree to, knowing that the defense knows every day that goes by, the costs are increasing, which that's part of their argument, is that the costs are too high. Today, we stand at 237 days we've had to take care of these animals, 17 in total. It is not cheap. And additionally, Ms. Sipe was aware of our daily costs back in September. And again, there has been numerous requests for continuances on the defense side. ARC has not caused any delay in this. And secondarily, there has been a lot of confusion regarding whether this case is civil or criminal, etc. The last time we were here, I did reference State versus Tilley, which is a Court of Appeals opinion that does interpret this statute. They interpret this statute as this is a criminal matter. So with that, again, it's very clear as far as the opinion that this is not civil. This is not a civil matter, although we do see where the confusion lies in us being a third-party petitioner in a criminal case that is unique, which also this case is unique. So that is part of why we're running into some of this confusion. And so we believe that the Court of Appeals has made it clear that this is part of the criminal case. And it is not my, opinion to say whether his representation extends to that, as far as what his scope of representation is for Ms. Sipe.
So let me interrupt you and ask you,
Yes.
do you have a copy of that decision, of that appellate court decision?
I do.
All right, go ahead. I interrupted you.
So we are able today, we have all of our witnesses. We're able to put on all of the proof, and we are able also to provide them any documentation that's requested that, again, we believe they've had access to.
What, if you don't mind stating for the record, what is the Animal Rescue Corps asking for in the way of a bond under that statute?
Yes. So at this point, we are asking for all expenses, boarding and medical services that have been rendered to these animals in the last 237 days. We're asking for an order today to be issued for our incurred expenses to date. And then it's the judge's discretion as far as how you wish to fund the expenses as her criminal case continues, because the statute's clear that this bond is to cover until the disposition of her criminal case.
So are you asking for a judgment against Ms. Sipe for those funds, or that have already been expended, or are you asking for a bond to ensure payment? Because under the criminal law, she's presumed to be innocent of these charges, and we have to balance that with ordering her to pay some amount out of her pocket. Now, that's different than posting a bond to secure the cost of the animals. And let's say I set a bond of $250,000, just picking something out of the thin air to secure the cost, and that's the amount of the bond she would have to provide. And she can't do that. She's got an appointed attorney because she is found to be indigent. Then what happens to the animals then, so that Ms. Sipe understands, and the record is clear, what would be under that statute the next step?
Sure. So regarding, I believe, State versus Tilley addresses that this is a security bond order to cover the cost. And it is a pre-trial matter. So it's before her criminal case is decided. And therefore, the statute also addresses that failure to pay the bond within 10 business days would deem her to have abandoned the animals, as she has a financial duty to care for these animals, regardless of if she has custody or not. This is the way the statute reads, that then the animals would be abandoned by her, and they would then be forfeited to the responding agency, which Cheatham County Animal Control and ARC have worked out that ARC would be deemed the owner since they've incurred the expenses to date.
All right. Let me hear from the state to see whether
Thank
Mr.
you.
Hollis has anything to add, so.
Your Honor, I think if we follow the case law here and call it criminal, I may have some of the similar concerns that Mr. Vaughn had about the extension of our practice and or external attorneys. I'm unclear if it is criminal outside of a special prosecutor for victims where I can have outside counsel assisting the state.
Well, let me, I'm going to take a recess and read this case, and that will assist me in determining what exactly the status of it is, what Mr. Vaughn's position is regarding this case, as well as what your office's obligations are. But clearly, this is a state statute that was adopted by our legislature, and therefore it has to be followed, absent some finding it's unconstitutional. Now, another question is exactly what are we talking about as far as the financials that you say you've not been able to review, Mr. Vaughn?
7 months worth of keeping 14 animals being more than $240,000. So it seems criminal. If we're talking about criminal civil, that sounds criminal.
Well, that figure is maybe.
Think this courtroom battle couldn't get any crazier. A retired Army sergeant rushed to court asking for emergency help over a home awarded to his ex-wife in their divorce. He claimed the house had lost its insurance and argued the situation was becoming impossible to manage. But the judge wasn't convinced. After reviewing the divorce order, he reminded everyone that the property already belonged to the ex-wife and that the former husband no longer had any ownership rights. Then came the bombshell. The judge ordered him to sign over his remaining interest in the property, hand over an insurance check, and help move the refinancing process forward. In the end, the emergency request failed, and the judge doubled down on enforcing the original divorce ruling. Was this justice, or was the former husband treated too harshly? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe The Legal Lens for more real courtroom drama.